we are diving a little bit more into the pragmatic areas. So I will invite Maya on stage now. Maya, please.
Yes, hi. I'll just share my screen. Can you all see it okay?
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Perfect. Lovely, thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of like start right at the beginning and make it practical as possible, as AI ethics is not just something that's only theoretical, but it's something that's very real and very applicable to our everyday lives. So the first thing that I kind of wanted to grasp is, what does AI ethics really mean? And so there's really like this balance that we're looking between innovation and responsibility. And so while we have like new systems that are up and coming, so generative AI is always coming up with new LLMs, etc. There's also responsibility on the corporation side and the organizational side to make sure that it's fair, it's transparent, it's accountable, right? So what does this exactly mean? So fairness means that AI treats people equally, that it doesn't have embedded biases, which nowadays with AI being trained in biased data is quite complicated, but we'll get to how to mitigate that as well. Second is it needs to be transparent, so that the AI decisions are very well documented as somebody is responsible for the outputs of an AI, so we can explain why the output was the way that it was. Accountable, so again, responsibility is number one. And then safe as well. So AI systems shouldn't cause any harm intentionally or unintentionally. So here what we want to emphasize is that your employees are already using AI. The problem is there's no policies in place for most of the companies. So for instance, your employees could be sharing your customer data unknowingly, especially now with ChatGPT and Gemini indexing data and conversations that are happening. It's extremely important to have that conversations with your employees so that you make sure that they're using it in a way that's in line with your company's values. So here are some practical examples of biases within AI. So I don't know if you knew, but only 22% of AI roles are held by women. And it goes even down to 15% when it comes to executive roles. And women actually use AI 25% less than men. So there's several implications here, but basically by women not being behind the decision-making table, we're making more products that are not inclusive and more services that are ignoring a segment of people. So for instance, Amazon used an AI screener for CVs, and it started directly excluding women's CVs just because it was trained on traditional data. Same happened with banks. When banks introduced like loan systems that were governed by AI, biased AI, we could see that women and also women of color would get much lower loans than men, for instance, even if they had the same kind of income on their accounts. And then there's also like facial recognition bias, which MIT study showed that the facial recognition systems were built primarily on white people, and it had really big issues on recognizing Black and brown faces. Meaning this could have like serious implications for like transport security, for like port access or workers' ID check. And so if the AI data is biased, your AI will be biased, and that will cost your people as well and your customers. And so in terms of frameworks, I wanted to maybe zone into the B Corp framework, which has traditionally been used for sustainability, but it also applies quite well into the AI world. So we're looking into environment, workers, community, governance, and customers. So how do we integrate ethical AI into everything that we're doing? And so one of the steps that companies can take is set AI usage policies. So your employees are already using it, so make sure to regulate it early and often. Then have this be a part of like your company's training and culture building. So educate your team on AI ethics, critical reasoning, empathy, inclusiveness. It's really vital to also set up ethical AI committees. So this could be done with boards or stakeholder groups, but making sure that you bring in diverse voices behind the table that's shaping the AI. And finally, data governance. So by auditing regularly, you can adapt your approach as you see inconsistencies come up or biases come up. Last but not least, so ethics and trust is a competitive advantage. So this is not just about ethics for the sake of calling ourselves ethical, or as Christina mentioned, like greenwashing. It's really about building trust with your stakeholders and also with employees and legal systems, such as the EU AI Act, the UN regulations on ethical AI uses, etc. And companies that will embed AI ethics today are the ones that will be leading in terms of sustainability, reputation, and innovation. So AI ethics is not just good for morals, it's good for business. Thank you.